Hey guys, what's going on? It's Diddy from Marvel Contest of Champions, bringing out an all-new video today on the mastery points that you've earned from completing quests. They did finally release it, so I was able to do it. So let's jump right in and get to it. As we see, you go to your profile and then you could click on mastery, and that'll bring up a whole new screen for you. And in this, you'll see that you have 3 tabs: your offense, your defense, and a coming soon. The defense one is a little bit smaller right now than their offensive one, and that's primarily because there's just a little bit less to do. So let's go through the defense first, so that we can see as much as we can get, or what we can get. We'll go through it through this whole video, basically just saying all the things that you can get. And mastery as a whole affects all of your champions. So this is a big warning to all of those people that haven't used their mastery points yet. If you're trying to compete for a 3-star event, or in the 3-star event, and you do use all your mastery points, you are going to have your champions get a much higher PI. So what that means is that your the opponents that you're going against, and this pertains more to the 3-star arena than the 4-star arena, you are going to get less points for beating the 330 champions that you would have as your streak gets harder, meaning that you're going to get about 1,300 is what I've seen. I've gotten 42 mastery points, and I've used all but 7 because I'm still waiting for everything to come out. But big warning, your PI will go up, meaning you'll earn a lot less points. Before I used my mastery, they did increase the amount of points that you were getting for your 3-star characters, or 2-star characters in the 3-star event, and I was getting about, I want to say, 2,000 to 2,300 in the previous arena, and that got me really high really quick, obviously. And again, if you do these mastery points, it will make life easier, but you will get less points. In the 4-star arena, it doesn't affect it too much in terms of the PI, because, or for me it doesn't, for average players it doesn't. If you have a bunch of 440 or 550 4-star characters, then I'm sure it'll affect you in the same way. I'm clearly not at that point, as a pretty average player, which most of you guys are too. So let's just go through it. That's my warning, get it out of the way. But for defense, the first thing you could do is increase your health of all champions by 24. So that's clearly just a numerical one. The one that I chose to do the most was increase the health of the champions by a percentage. And this really helps out the bigger champions. You'll see that, obviously having just a solid number isn't as beneficial to having one when you're talking about your 3 and your 4-star champions, because the percentage will be greater than just the actual health that they receive. So the next is block proficiency. I ranked that up all the way, and these are definitely subject to change. This is my first impression of it, and I've already thought of changes I wanted to make. But block proficiency is increased by 8%. What I'm anticipating that meaning is that it takes another 8% of damage away when you're blocking. At least that's the impression I got. Next is perfect block. So we all know what perfect block is from Captain America, is the chance to have taken 0 damage from while blocking. And that's at 4% when it's maxed out, so it's really not that high, which is a little disappointing. But the nice thing about the mastery, and you'll see it if you face some higher people in the arenas, or whatever, is that these do take effect. So you don't have to have perfect block, and you'll see as we get to the offensive side, you don't have to have healing. It'll create it for you, which is a big benefit. Going up to the upper bracket, or I'll just continue with this bracket because I have it. It's locked right now. This is pretty solid as well. When blocking, you have a 17% chance to resist the opponent's attempt to block break, or 50%. And the other thing that we've now noticed is the unlock button with this new item. So the Stony Core is what it takes to unlock some of the mastery of skills. So let's just go to the item score real quick before we continue and look at the Stony Core. It does cost 135 units, so I don't buy it. But if you do want to get your master's points up, or unlock some of the more beneficiary effects that you could gain, that would be the way to go. I haven't seen anything on the defensive side that makes sense for me yet, but as we get up the ladder, I'll talk about that more as well. Energy resistance, against energy damage, I didn't find that all too helpful. I only bought one because I thought I could get the physical resistance, which is way better, by 1 and 4%. It's when it's max, so you can see that it does tell you what the max percentage is that you are going to get on it, which is definitely helpful. So 4% against physical damage, it may not even be worth it to use all of your points, but defensively it's pretty solid. And again, it does cost a Stony Core. The biggest thing in the defense that I'm sure a lot of people want to get is the lesser healing. You do have to use 2 Stony Cores, so that's you're talking about 270 units right there just to use that. And when you have it maxed out, you recover 5 health per second for 60 seconds. So 5 times 60, we're talking about 300 health that you are restoring. But again, it really depends on where your characters are at. If you want to unlock that, that's probably a good option. But the issue that I have with it is if I'm using it for my bigger characters and champions, then it doesn't mean as much to me because, 6 or 300 damage, that's 2 physical hits from a Hulk or something that's 330. So that's why I didn't want to unlock it at this point. But you'll see the item after that is even more recovery. You could increase recovery amounts by up to 15%. That's pretty solid, and we can see it's locked. I can't unlock it because I don't have the previous one, but that's going to cost 6 of the Stony Cores. So that one's really good. If you do want to go on the healing option inside of things, that's not a bad way to go. But for me, if you have high level champions, I don't think it's nearly as effective. So now let's get to the offensive side. This is one a little bit more open, and first one, same deal. Increase attack by the number, and then increase by percentage. I chose the percentage. It's up to 8. Then moving along to the bottom rung, we have increase attack while health is below 50%. I got that to 20%. That's mastered. I think that's a pretty good one to have. So that's why I liked it. That's why I chose to do it. Not all, you'll see. I mean, I don't have too much filled out, and a lot of that is because I want the Stony Core to open it, and we'll get to the top section a little bit later or shortly after. Extended Fury. You increase your Fury by 0.2 seconds. I mean, if you got that all the way up, you're adding another second and a half. So I didn't feel like that was worth it. Increases the effectiveness of Fury. That one's okay, but you're starting at 2%, which means you're probably only going to get about to 8% with 4 of them. So I didn't find that as too much of a thing that I was interested in getting. But if we look at the top, this one's pretty good. It costs 2 Stony Cores to unlock, and then the critical hits ignore 5% of the target's armor. So I guess that's okay. But what it really allows you to do is open up the other 4 that are really good. If we take a look at the bottom rung, increase critical damage by percentages, which I always like. So once you get it up to 5%, or 5, if you get it all the way maxed out to 5, you're talking about 8%. And then right after that one as well is increase critical damage by 10%, and if it's maxed out, up to 50%. So, if you have, let's just say, a Storm who deals on her first special 2,600 damage, then she would be dealing another 1,300 damage, which would be about 3,900. So that would be very beneficial for anyone that has a really high critical rate. Certainly something you would want to do. I'm honestly thinking about purchasing some of those Stony Cores just so that I'd be able to unlock it and revamp my strategy for the offense. And then on top, it's more or less the same type of deal, except this is just increasing the critical rate itself. Again, the top one is by percentages, and then the one to the next rung is up to 10% if you have it maxed out, an increased critical rate of that. So what I think I'll probably wind up doing is, wind up unlocking that one at the top. I'm still waiting to see if Kabam does come up with another system of being able to get those Stony Cores outside of just having to purchase units for them. 300 units for 2 of them is a lot. I'm not sure if I want to invest that much. And it does, again, increase the PI of your champions. So not necessarily sure if I want to do that, but if I do reformat, my skills and mastery points, I would unlock this top one and then do the bottom rung, this bottom over here, to increase my critical damage. and then take some off from the other ones. So I hope this helped you with learning the mastery. It's very new, and again, my warning is if you're in the 3-star arena competing, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and you're going to not get as many points because you are going to have higher PIs that you're going against. But the mastery points is something that's new, something pretty cool. So hopefully you learned something. And for Marvel Contest of Champions, signing off, this is Diddy Doms.